Welcome to another episode of Phil John's VIP. I am your host, Phil John. Thank you for joining me for another episode tonight. I am glad that you have stopped by tonight because I'm super excited for my guest, as I am with all my guests, of course. This particular guest, though, I am a true fan of. I am so proud not only to call her a colleague, but also just an incredible actor of stage and screen. She's been in the game so long and is continuing to give back and thrive. If you've ever seen her on stage, she is a force to be reckoned with. I mean, she can go from being extremely jolly and happy to being a person who just is just giving you the business to the degree that you almost feel it to your soul. So tonight I am going to introduce, for those who do not know, what I call the experience that is Shukura. Shukura has been in the game for a long time, and it doesn't seem like she have any side of quitting, but she's also a person who is well respected in the business and well respected in her craft. For as long as she's been in the industry, she has a wide range of work, from commercials to television to film, but her stage performances will blow you away without question. Again, like I said, she's a tour de force. She's the person who makes you feel something. And that's when you know you have a sign of a true thespian, if they can make you feel. She's a powerhouse. There's nothing that she has touched, in my opinion, you're not going to notice who she is. She is small in height, but large in stature and presence, especially when she hits the screen. I'm so excited to introduce to you. You know, the 70s had their Tamu. We got our Shukura. And if you're checking out the hat is because not only is she a talent, but she's also the slickest hat wearer ever. So I told her tonight that I was going to pull out something out of my repertoire so that I'm able to compete with an OG, compete with one of the top players in the game, and I want to bring it into you tonight. So, introducing without further ado the experience known as Shukura. Bringing her in now. And then in about where you at? Where you at? Where you at? Where you at? Where you at?
I'm here. I'm here.
There
How
you
you
are.
doing, Bill?
I am good. How are you?
Good. I'm doing great. Let me turn this volume up a little
Can you
bit.
hear me?
Okay, I can hear you.
Thank you so much for joining me tonight. Right? You see, I got the hat. I'm repping. I'm repping. I pulled out
Uh-oh.
my Godfather's hat. Huh?
Uh-oh.
Yo, I said,
That's
yo,
what's up.
I
That's what's
said,
up.
listen. I said, outside of everything, outside of all that you are, one thing I love to see is how you style it up.
Appreciate that.
Totally
Appreciate
how
it.
you
Well, you know
style it up.
what? Well, you know what, Phil? I brought something, just for you then, just in case.
Ah!
Just because you opened it up. All right, hold on.
Bring it
Hold
up,
on,
bring
hold
it
on.
up, bring it up.
Holla,
Ah!
holla, 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 holla,
Ah!
holla,
There
holla,
it is, there it is, there it is. Yeah, that's
I
it.
kept it
That's
just
it.
for you
Thank
because you
you. Thank
always
you.
talk about my hat. So
Yeah,
I said,
yeah.
let me bring this
I'm
one
like,
out for
yo, I
Phil.
said, yo, you better not let me in your hat closet. Cause I'm jacking some stuff. And you gonna come back like, I knew I had a hat with a blue ribbon around it. Yo.
See, and I almost brought the gray one out, but it's a good thing that you got the gray. I brought the white
Yeah.
one. So it's a good thing I did the white today. We'd have been twins.
That was up. That was up. That was up. Like I said before in the introduction, I'm a total fan of your work. I always tell people there's levels to this, right? You have your heroes, the people that you grew up watching, the people who you are fans of, like total fans of their work. Then you have your colleagues, but then you have colleagues who you are just fans of because of their work presence, because of, you know, the ability to make people feel. And I've watched your body of work, and I've seen throughout the years how you've kind of just morphed into characters and make them so believable that it's not put on, it's not forced, it's just this, it just falls like a leaf falling from a tree to the ground. It's just effortless. And I just want to just start off by asking you, what was the thing that made you want to get into the business and just be an artist?
Well, first I want to thank you for, you know, that compliment, you know, about my work. You know, I appreciate that. And also, Phil, I really love your work as well. I remember meeting you at the Manhattan Monologue Slam, and I saw your work, and, you know, I've been a fan as well. So,
Wow. So this is the
right
Manhattan
back at
Monologue
you.
Slam?
Yep. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Because you know, I love this craft with a passion.
Yeah.
So when I see other people who are what I call flying, like when you're in that moment and you're on stage or wherever you're at and you're just doing it and you're just like in that zone of, you're just flying. I love that. It inspires me. So you know, I look at others too, and it inspires me and it makes me feel great and come to life. And in terms of my acting career, and when I first got the bug bit me, is that pretty much your
Yeah.
question to
Yeah.
me? Well, it bit me at 7 years old. And unknowingly to me, because I didn't even know that it was acting, actually. There was something in my elementary school called the storytelling contest. So I would participate in that, and I would win it every year. And for my entire class, like say that I started at 7, so the entire second grade I'd be the winner. Then the whole third grade I'd win, fourth grade, fifth grade, and then by the time I got to 6, not only did I win it in my grade, but I won it in the whole school. So I went to the next level. So that you know, without realizing that the storytelling contest was acting, that's what, you know, that's when the bug bit me. And then at 11 years old, I was also one day cleaning up for my art teacher after school, and I was just kind of being myself, jumped on the desk, I'm acting like Michael Jackson, I'm dancing, and she looked at me and she said, you know, you should be an actor. And I couldn't believe it. And I said to her, that's what I want to be. Like, that's what I want to be. Somebody finally said, you know, the thing, you know, that I've been wanting to be forever. And she referred me to an acting teacher, and I read for the acting teacher, and the acting teacher insisted I go to the American Academy of Dramatic Arts, and I started studying at 11 years old at the American Academy of Dramatic Arts.
Wow. At 11 at AMDA?
What's that?
At AMDA?
Yeah, on
Wow.
Madison Avenue, they had a Saturday program for children, and I was
Wow.
in there. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a pretty tough program.
Yeah, I mean, it's not, you know,
Yeah.
I guess the college, you know,
Yeah.
I guess where they're
Yeah.
competitive, that it's just, it's where well, I did have to audition, but you know, your parents enroll you and you pay, and,
Yeah.
you know, you study and you take these wonderful classes. And that was my, like, foundation. That was my first, like, foundation of training, was at 11 there at the American Academy of Dramatic Arts.
And I feel like, you know, you're a Gemini, so there's always two faces to you all. Like there's this, and for you, I've seen multiple sides come out, and multiple sides come out authentically, right? When I
Thank you.
look at your earlier commercial work, you're like well, typical to that time, the black best friend, the girl next door, definitely,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
coworker that we like to hang out with, you know. And
yeah.
then there was a transformation that happened where I feel like you're more. But even then, I could also tell that there was almost like a force behind you, in your eyes, and how you spoke. And then to now, to where I feel like you're taking on, even though you still can be very light, you're taking on more heavier roles. You're taking on more heavy. Your challenges are more greater. you know.
Mm.
And yet I feel like the best is yet to be seen. Like I feel like
Mm.
you're giving us small doses in it. So tell me, what was that transition like from being like the safe commercial girl, even if it was a series? It's like when I would look at the old stuff, I see more of like the girl on Melrose Place, someone that's
Right.
just pop up and be like, hey, you know, did Brad leave you again? Like kind of like no kind of girl.
Absolutely.
And then now you really just digging deeper into like heavier stuff. Like what was that transition like for you? And what was that experience like?
Definitely. So even before I did like a whole bunch of commercials and things like that, national, some international, some regional, at the beginning of my career, that was my, like, I guess my break was the commercials. You know, I would be sent out on a lot of commercials, and I would book them. I was not sent out a lot for film and TV. I just didn't have those opportunities. However, before the commercials, I did a lot of stage before the commercials. But here's where the transition is. You know, I'm a character actor. Like I can do like just naturally many different people with different accents, and I mean, I can even play, I would like to play one day a white man, you know, like just very
Mhm.
opposite me, like bunch of different people. But in terms of like what I had the opportunity to do or what I was seen as, that's where everything lies, you know, like the opportunities and what you're seen as. And what it is at the beginning of my career, I was more so seen kind of like the cute girl next door, you know, and then I transitioned myself within my own life. Like I came out, you know, like in terms of my sexuality, and that like brought out a whole like I had no idea like there's the like what they'll call the AGs or the studs or the butch, or they're all different names for a similar type of a lesbian woman. I had no idea it was like that. I had
Right,
no
right,
idea.
right, right.
But what it really was is like my nature. My nature just kind of popped out, like
Right.
who I really was inside, that I had like repressed unknowingly because I had, you know, repressed my sexuality. So I didn't even know like these sides of myself. So in me coming out and evolving more into like my comfort zone of like who I am, what happened is like slowly but surely my physical appearance started changing. It wasn't deliberate, like I'm like, okay, today I'm like this, tomorrow I'm gonna be like this. It's just like really a natural progression as I came out and came into myself more, which had to do with my sexuality, but it really was just who I am as a human being.
Right.
So in me coming out and, you know, getting more into like who I am more comfortably, my wardrobe changed, and I guess, you know, things within myself, like certain like courage, and I was, you know, I always had courage, but you know, more you grow into yourself, like it just kind of
Right.
came out, and I evolved.
Right.
I metamorphosized into like this new person.
Right.
So with that came different opportunities. And interestingly enough, now I'm seen like this, and I'm kind of like, you know, I can do other stuff too, but you know, so that's okay. But in that metamorphosizing, funny enough, roles that feel more authentic to me are now offered to me.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like where they wouldn't be offered before. Now, like my success that I've had fairly recently, which has been a recurring role on New Amsterdam
Yes.
and also a role on Orange is the New Black, they were both pretty much written for male characters.
Yeah.
And nowadays, unlike when I first started in the business, nowadays they'll like have parts that's written for males, but they'll say, yeah, and you know, women can audition as well. Back in the day, that didn't exist. Just like
Right.
being out, you know,
Right.
and proud and all that stuff didn't exist either. But so I found myself becoming successful at those parts. Like another part I played in a film called The Trade, I played a pimp, and the role was written for a male originally, and on the last minute the director decided to give me a shot at it. He thought, well, let me see Shukura at this, and I booked it, and I've just found that recently my success has come with roles written like that. So it's not like the stereotypical, oh, this is a woman, this is what a woman says. It's actually written for a male, but my energy, like, I could bring it. And New Amsterdam and Orange is New Black, there were men at those auditions, big 6 foot something men, muscles, everything. Boom. We all auditioned, and just like the trade, men, I booked it. So it's like an energy. So that's how I can explain the transition. But I'm a character actor, and I have a wide variety. But I'm really enjoying these roles. They're a lot more me than back in the day. It was like the lines for women, like it would be like guys, doing all this fun stuff. I'd be reading the sides, and it would be like a lot of times a guy actor up opposite me, and he was doing all this fun stuff. Like, for example, in a comedy, he'd be like, okay, babe, just 1 second, I'll be right back. Yeah, okay, and he's like tripping or falling or whatever. And my big line for the woman was, Macy closes at 5:30. Can you go? Like, that's the line. And I mean, I could do it like Macy's closes at 5:30. Can we go? I have to buy my shoes. But I can be more, babe, okay, we'll be right back. Just give me a second. Just please, wait. Like, I feel that's more interesting to me. And those are the roles, fortunately, that I'm offered now. Yeah. And I book.
Yeah. What I want to get into all the big network stuff, but what I love about you is your ability to even do that stuff, but still, like, you balance your masculine and feminine energy so perfectly that even in the roles that are intended for men, there's still a very beautiful feminine side of you that comes out even in the tough exterior. And for guys who like women to be a little aggressive, is very sexy on you. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it may not appear that way, but it is. It's I love to see, just like with the role of the pimp, when you move in and you like, come on, baby, you got that slick talk, and I'm looking at Shukura and I'm like, damn,
you're ready to throw your throws.
It's just that's why I say, like, I'm total fan, because I can't wait to ever see what you do next and how you're going to present it next, because you just that balance of masculine and feminine energy that you have. And I would also say that just so people will also know that Shukura is a mom, so like that energy that she has, and that's what makes it so authentic and real, because it is.
Well, I tell you this, Phil. I personally, we all, as they say, like, we have estrogen and testosterone, so it's male, female, and everything. But me personally, I don't consider myself masculine at all. Some might, and definitely the presentation, the clothing, like, okay, the clothing I wear is what our society has deemed for males. Right. But that's just human, that's just a human being saying, okay, I'm going to cut the pants this way, and that's for men. I'm going to cut it this way, and that's for women. And, that's just like social. You know what I mean? To me, masculine and femininity, it's like innate. To me, it's different. Like, and even when you say like the tough, like, I don't think being tough is necessarily masculine, and being like sweet is necessarily feminine. Right. I think that's necessarily the fact. You know what I mean? To me, femininity and masculinity is a lot deeper. And I think when it comes to, say, femininity, there's a wide range. There's the feminine that, wears the tiaras and the heels, and they're very delicate. And I love those type of women. And then there's also, in that feminine range, some that, want to play basketball or want to lift weights, or, and it's still feminine. And then, though, there's also then the masculine that's in women, and it's a masculine energy, and it's the same thing with males. So I just don't see it in the typical like social way of like, okay, baking pies, that's feminine.
Right.
Oh,
Right.
doing construction work, that's masculine. I don't see those things in that way. So
Right.
I actually
Right.
see my energy as actually feminine, and you know, that's
I
it.
love it. That's the view. I got somebody just chimed in. Justine said she can definitely be smooth. Ask her what shoes she's wearing.
Wait, Justine said what?
She said you can definitely be smooth. Ask for me to ask you what shoes you wearing.
Justine, that's my
Yo,
girl. That's my girl.
Justine, her shoe game is tight too. I've seen that before.
That's what I'm saying. Justine always talking about my shoe game, and that's because like recognize like.
Right.
Justine, the shoe game too. But I say, Justine, I'm in my house, so the shoes is no shoes at all. I ain't got no shoes on. I'm barefoot on the rug.
Yo, I'm so I love this. I've been waiting for so long to talk to you and just kind of like just give you accolades and what I think about you and have that kind of conversation with you and just because I always want to know like how you do it and just I think it was B. Arthur that said that when she talked about comedy, she said I've seen great actors who the minute you tell them that they're in a comedy become creatures from another planet. The voice changes and all that stuff.
Oh, okay.
But comedy is truth, right? And if you tell the truth, people will connect to it and then it will become funny. So
right.
A lot of what we do in our performances, if we remain truthful to those performances, people will connect, it will resonate, they will land, And that's one thing that I see you do all the time.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate you. You know, we as actors, to get this type of, recognition and affirmation, it means so much because so often we're on the rejection side of things. So, especially when our colleagues, tell us these type of things, I know you mean it. It really means a lot to me. So I truly thank you a lot for saying these things to me. Thank you.
Without question. So let's talk Orange is the New Black and New Amsterdam. What were those experiences like for you?
Well, they were amazing. And the reason why it was so amazing for me is because, when I started in the business, I started doing off-Broadway theater shows, and then I got into commercials, and then and I was just never, in my career, I was never sent out for auditions for film and TV in terms of like the big television. And the very few I would be sent out on at the beginning of my career, about 85% of those auditions I would be called back for. And that was like about 6 to 8 auditions a year. So to make a long story short, I struggled with getting the opportunities to be seen. And I still do really, but back in 5 years ago in 2018, I still, had just a few and far between auditions. And I just said, well, you know what? This is what I got. And I'm going to just have to try my best. And New Amsterdam. And that's after like 20 something years of like, knocking at the TV door. Because I've always just wanted to do film and TV. That's my passion.
Yeah.
But it finally opened with New Amsterdam, the pilot. I booked a small part on the pilot, and it was a few lines. And when I got on the set, the director says to me, she's like, sorry, Shukura, we had to cut it, and my few lines came down to one word. And she said to me, sorry, and I'm thinking, and she was like, sorry, we'll have you back. And, in this business, people always say, we'll have you back.
Right,
so I took the word, I was okay, great. And I'm thinking, she's saying sorry. I'm like, lady, this is the biggest break of my career. I'm on an MVP TV show. I'm going to say that one word like it's everything. I thought about, why am I saying this word? Who am I? And I said it, and they had me back for sure. And it was a prison guard, and the next episode with a prison guard was, I believe it was episode 3 in season 1. And it could have been any other prison guard, but they liked me as the prison guard, and they had me in as the recurring prison guard, and the name was Prison Guard Raina. So that was amazing to me, and I was just blessed to be on the, on the set, and NBC pilot, friggin' recurring. Like, they called me back from season 1 through season 3, so I was very, very grateful. It was my first, like, big thing to me, and then the next year in 2019, I auditioned for Orange is the New Black since it started, like the pilot. And I auditioned for like a guard, actually, also. They got somebody look totally different to me, a white, like heavyset lady, whatever. So, that was that. And I auditioned, I think, maybe 1 or 2 other times throughout the whole, all the seasons. And I never got anything, but everybody would always say, because that was a hot show, and the way that I look, my Orange is New Black, that's you, that's you. I was like, okay. The last season, the last episode, I booked a role, a part in Orange is the New Black. So I was very, very grateful for that. Very thankful for both of those opportunities.
And that show ran about what, five seasons?
I think a lot more than that.
5 seasons?
Yeah, I think a lot more. I was watching it for a few seasons, but then they kind of lost me a little bit. But it went on for a few more seasons, and I watched it at least till season 5. So it went on for a while. That was a very successful show, which that's a blessing. All those actors are a different type than the average actors, and so that was a great door opening for a lot of people, myself included, with the part that I had. So I was very grateful and blessed to be a part of both of those shows.
And working on New Amsterdam, to be able to go in from season 1 to season 3, was it kind of like, for a moment, did you kind of exhale and say, like, take it in, like, this feels good? And for those who are watching, when I say take it in, not so much that she got on the show, it's just as an actor, you grind and you do the auditions are relentless. So when you finally get it and you come on in, it's just like I can just settle in for a minute.
Nah.
No?
I ain't settled in. You know why? I didn't settle in because it wasn't a huge part. It wasn't like I was like if I was a series regular, and like, because it was the 5 doctors, those are the main people. Shit, I got that. I would have been breathing a little bit. What? What? Okay. I'm waiting for that opportunity one day. And I'm grateful for what I had. But for me, it wasn't like a contracted, like, oh, she's a recurring. No, they just happened to call me back. They called me back 3 times for the first season. I was good with that. Then the second season, they called me again. I was like, wow. Then the third season, they called me again. So it wasn't like an everyday, all day, or, bunch of episodes. I just had, a bit of a presence on the show. So no, I didn't exhale. I was just, grateful to have the opportunity of what I had. But nah. I make it to where, I want to be. And I want to make it to where I want to be. And I want to do things. And like you said with my theater performance, I make people feel. I want people to feel. Whatever it is that role that I hit and I'm doing that thing, I want people to feel. I want people to feel whoever this person is that writer created, me and that writer. Because the writer would create it and I would bring, my energy to it. I want to teach whatever that person is trying to convey. I want to teach the world that. I want to give that message, and I want to do it so well, like 100%. And I'm looking forward to that. And at that point, then I'll exhale. And I'll say, I did what I needed to do. And hopefully, the doors will keep opening for me. But that's the thing that I want to do.
How is important to you, and I think I said this to Justine as well, how important it is for you to make an impact?
Oh, it's very important. It's very important. It's an innate thing. It's my calling. It's what I believe I'm here to do. So, in terms of those doors opening, that's like, for me and the divine to do, the divine, the most high, the universe, the whatever anybody calls this energy, that I believe exists. Um, that's for the divine. And I believe that's between me and that energy. And like I said, it's part of what I'm here to do. So that's how important it is. That's what I'm here to do.
I always say, I always believe that what we do is the talent is a gift, but what we do is a service.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure, for sure. But that's in our art, and that's in everything that I think we all do, as human beings. Like we're all, a drop in the bucket. All our energy, we add to it, we add to it, we add to it. And acting is a calling, but it's not the only one. There are many callings that we have on this earth, and I just feel that that is one of the things that I'm here to do. Like having a child, I have a daughter. That's a calling as well that I'm very, very grateful for. I'm very honored to be blessed with that opportunity. And and I love my daughter. She's a beautiful, beautiful human being. I'm very, very grateful to have her. So that's another calling.
I, I just think it's amazing, 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 amazing. So let me I'm going to start this because I want to give you enough time without rushing. I ask everyone 5 questions that come
Okay.
on to it, and you can take your time and you can answer them however you like. All right. So
Sure.
first question: tell me, what do you know now? What do you know now about the business, opposed to what you thought it was going in for the first time?
Oh, geez. Oh, geez. Um, what I What I know now about the business is that it is just the business. Like, I like to act, and I'm not crazy about the business of this acting thing at all. Like, because it's all kind of nonsense and because our culture, our society has put, the emphasis on like artists who are famous and, who do big things, like just all this like superficial, like, oh my God, and it's just crazy. And it's ugly. It's ugly. It's not nice. It's just not who I am. And I don't like it. I don't like it.
Right, right,
I don't
right,
like it
right.
at all. I'm in this game for like acting and the passion of the craft and these characters that I portray. So in terms of what I know now is that like at the beginning, I thought this was acting, like I'm acting, but it's more the business
Yeah.
than it is acting. So that's what I know now that I didn't know like when I was a kid at 11 studying, and I went on and studied for many years, and I went to the high school for performing arts, LaGuardia, and more studying and yay acting. Like I didn't think like after all that training, like, oh, the business is not even much about acting. It's about some bullshit. That's what I would
Truly,
say. Yeah.
truly,
Yeah. And that's why I'm grateful to meet people like you, like
yeah.
the genuine, the kind, because it's not always like that. So that's what I know.
And you know what's crazy? Like, and I probably have said this repeatedly on the show, but the reason why I even started the Phil John VIP is because I wanted to genuinely love on people who I thought were great, and not feel like I needed to. There was nothing that you had to give me back in return. Because what happened was is that I came into business thinking that everyone in show business or anybody in theater stuff, because I thought the community was so small that everybody loved each other. But then when I got into it, and I saw how it just took like this ugly turn from you know, here we are as a community to like one person booking something, another person booking something. All of a sudden, that same core group of people turn around and everyone becomes competitors. And then I felt like I started competing and I just felt dirty. Like I didn't want to do that because that's not who I am. I don't want to feel like I need to hate on anybody. I don't want to feel like I need to feel like I gotta book more co-star roles than somebody else. It's like that's not what I wanted to do this for. So when I made a decision to do this, it was simply because I wanted to publicly tell people, you're dope, thank you, and keep doing what you're doing.
Wow. Well, thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you for giving me a platform to speak on, you know, and that's wonderful to hear. And in terms of like competition and just all those things, that's what I mean. It's just the way it's set up. It's not even like, oh, you're competing? Oh, you feel competitive? It's like, yeah, because you put in this box and it's,
Yeah.
it's a crazy thing, but it's that and so much more. And that's what I mean, the business, you know,
Yeah.
the business. Like, I
Yeah.
just like the acting part. So I appreciate you. I
Right.
appreciate you,
It's like
Phil.
let me
Thank
act, and
you.
after that, I'm going to jump double dutch.
Okay, you see my double dutch. Exactly, exactly,
Yep. Yep.
exactly. Yeah, let me stay around the real folks. Let me just chill with some cool people.
True.
I'm good.
True.
I'm good. I don't need the rest.
So let me ask you, what advice would you give your 19-year-old self?
Wow, wow, my 19-year-old self. Oh my God. Well, the first thing that comes to my mind is when I was 19, that's when I first came out the closet. But since then, I went back in, I came back out. I had a lot. It's been a journey. But so I'd say, stay out, girl, stay out. It's okay. So, you know, that would be the major thing. But what would I give my 19-year-old self? I don't know. That, and I would just, I don't know. I would just, what else comes to mind is just that, like, one day I would have this daughter who, you know, is like, my daughter is like, she just was 19 like a few weeks ago. She just turned 20. So, yeah, like, I would just like be telling myself, like, look, you're gonna have this person, and you know, this is gonna be your life. Like, you know, I don't know, all that good stuff. But I guess like the first thing came to mind is stay out the closet, girl.
So,
But then again, everything we do is for a reason. So everything is what makes me who I am. So I really wouldn't give that advice. I'd say just do you.
the experience of life, truly. So, what would you want your legacy to be?
Wow. Okay, okay. Well, I know I've been mentioning her a lot, my daughter. That's one of my legacy because that's a presentation. And I would want to be known as a great actor, you know, and a great artist, and you know, an artist that changed things within people, my audience, because of something they saw in me, the person that was, you know, that character speaking at them, like, but worldwide, not just like one or two people, but a lot of people, like looking, like something that those people did, those people that I portray, that changed the world, like many people's perspectives and things, made them feel certain things, that changed things. And that's another part of my legacy. And just like I'd like to be known as just a good person, like a good pure person, because that's what I am. And I just like to know that I affected people positively. Children, I've worked with children a lot. I adore kids, and just human beings, everybody, like that. I've changed people positively. I got to their heart in some good way.
What brings you joy?
Life brings me joy. I'm grateful to be alive. Martha's Vineyard brings me a lot of joy. I love that place. It's like such a peaceful sanctuary. But I would say life itself, you know, I'm grateful to be alive, you know.
And I guess you answered my last question. What are you grateful for?
Everything.
Yeah.
Like everything. I really, it's like, I mean, I can't complain. I mean, I could, but
Yeah.
for what? You know, I have everything. I may not have like fulfilled my acting goals or, you know, even like relationship. I haven't found like the significant other or just whatever. But those things don't matter what I haven't gotten yet. What I have now is every single thing. I'm in good health, mentally, physically. You know, skin is clear. You know, I mean, what can I say? I mean, I got nice clothes. I live in a nice place. I know nice people. I'm loved. You
Yeah,
know what I'm
true,
saying? Like, what
true.
can I complain about? Like, I'm grateful for every single thing, everything, everything. There's nothing I'm not grateful for.
How important you think it is to have a lived life experiences, as it helps with the characters that we all portray? How important is it just to live life?
Oh, wow. I think the more that we authentically are who we are, just everything, just true, just being true to yourself and honest, just true everything. The more that when we take on any characters, we could boom, 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 we could hit it because we're just being completely honest.
Yeah,
But you got to be honest with yourself because if you
yeah,
know part of acting, you can't hold back. Oh my God, I'm gonna look like that. I mean, you
yeah.
gotta just do it. So the more you know yourself completely, the more you hit everything up just free and honest. So yeah, lived experiences and knowing oneself is very important.
I got a question for you from the audience. Is there a role you would love to land?
To land.
Is there a role you would love to land?
Yeah, I want to be a series regular in a new hit TV show, not one that exists right now. There's lovely, wonderful shows that I love so much. Um, this one that was just recently, what was it called? The Last of Us. That was great. I
Hmm.
love TV. There's just wonderful shows. That's just one of the wonderful shows that has existed. I want a brand new one that's not done yet, that I'm going to be in as a series regular as like the real deal Holyfield character that's true to
Right,
my heart and that's bringing it. And the series regular on it all the time. That's the role I want.
right,
I don't
right.
know
So,
what it is, but I think
something that
somebody's
you can
writing it
originate.
right now. Say it again.
Something that you can originate.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
somebody's writing it right now. They don't know yet. They might have me in mind. I don't know, but it's for me. They're writing it right now.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
the role.
So
That's
let
the
me ask you a
role.
question. What genre though?
What genre? Well,
If they're writing that show, what is it? Is it a comedy? Is it a drama? Is it a thriller? What is it?
it's a I would say it's a drama. Like it's like you know, when I think of these kind of shows like The Wire, it doesn't have to be like The Wire. You know, it doesn't have to be like even The Last of Us. But you know, in those like the nitty gritty, real, you know, those are dramas. You know,
Right,
like those kind of shows like that. You know, even when you think of a show like P Valley, although there's
yeah.
like comedic, it's funny, but it's like real. You know what I mean? I want my own kind. I don't know what it is. I don't know what they're gonna write for me. I don't know what it
Right.
is. But that kind of real deal show, gritty and real.
I, I tell you, I would tell everyone like, I think the people who did Grit and just did it well with like the Al Pacinos of the world and the
Yeah,
Robert De Niro of the world,
yeah,
at that time, you know.
yeah. Funny
Someone
enough,
asked,
funny enough,
huh?
Phil, I see myself like those kind of actors.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But if you ever watched documentary Casting By, there's a documentary called Casting By. I can't find it anywhere, but if you IMDb it, it's there. And it was about a casting director who name I can't remember, but it was a New York casting director, and she talked about when all of the studios, when there were contract players in the studios out in Hollywood, and like toward the late '60s, early '70s, they started to transition because they wanted a lot of the New York actors, because the New York actors could give the authentic that New York feel. You couldn't fly an actor in from LA to play someone that was connected to the city of New York, especially not in the early 70s. New York was not the New York of today. You think this is
Right.
bad? It was worse back then. So they had
Right.
the Robert De Niro's, the man just died, Mr. Can. I can't remember James Caan.
Okay.
James Caan and Al Pacino, and that's where you got the Dogs Day Afternoons and the Taxi Driver and all of those, you know.
Mm.
And
Those
she
are,
was a
that's
part
what
of,
I feel.
yeah,
Those kind of things.
she was a part of
Taxi
bringing that
drivers,
kind of
Cape
stuff.
Fear,
Truly,
Cape Fear.
truly, you know. Somebody said, "What about me? What about me?" Oh, for me, I told anybody if I could do a uh, uh, something like a Stephen King film,
Ah.
Shining.
What
Jack
character? Like
Jack
Nixon?
Nicholson's role in The Shining.
Wow.
That's like,
How interesting.
yeah, that would be the dream for me. Only because I'm always the nice guy.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd love to see you do something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah. I
yeah.
was watching your reel earlier today on IMDb,
Oh yeah, yeah.
and I loved it, by the way. And I love the gay character you played at the end.
Yes, that was what's your number?
That was great.
Yeah, yeah. I actually, it was so funny. Kind of like you. I walked into the audition and I told my agent, I was like, "You sure this is for me?" Because they were all like young, chubby, white men that were there, and I met Josh Rowe, who I think is an incredible actor, and our chemistry was so authentic and so great that when we read, it was just like, it was instant. And sometimes, you know, you may not think it's for you because you're kind of just a piece of a puzzle.
Right.
So you alone is, but when you're added to the entire puzzle, then you begin to see how it all fits in. And I think that was a beautiful piece because it really was about ageism. It was about it just so happened to be in a gay club, but it was about this like we all go through. You know, we grow older, we go back to the club. We're not pulling them like we used to in our
Right.
early 20s,
Well,
and we
I don't know
grow older.
nothing about that. I don't
Right,
know
right,
nothing
right,
about
right.
that.
I'm just saying that I'm talking about the film. I'm talking about the film.
Just
You know? So you know, when I read the thing, I was like, oh, this is universal. This is something that we all go through. You're talking about my character who had dealt with fat shaming, you know, like, well, I don't care what people think. I still think I'm hot.
Yeah,
Phil John thinks me hot.
you're
But that
adorable.
character,
You are.
that character had, he was confident, but I think the story was need to be told because he was, compared to the other character, this character was totally confident and fine with his appearance. It was the other character, the main character, played by Josh Rowe, who I still think is just a brilliant actor, who he had the problem with aging. He had the problem with not being the young one. So, and I just thought the way that was brought together was just brilliant. And shout out to the indie filmmakers who did that, bro, because it was good. I
You
was happy.
you did a great
Thank
job.
you.
I mean, like I said, the entire reel I enjoyed, but it was like ending with that, and especially because you're not a gay man. At
That
least,
was
you know,
that was a piece of, that was, you know, that was the piece of work that I
I
thought
thought
was
you did.
incredible.
It was wonderful. It was just
Yeah.
wonderful. Really well done. But
Thank
I'm
you.
not surprised. Like I said, since the Manhattan monologue, you know,
Yeah,
I
you know,
saw your
I
work.
thought we met at the Actors Gym.
We may have, yeah, you know,
That was
this
like,
business.
yeah, yeah, yeah. There was so much going on that time. It was the Actors
Yeah,
Gym.
yeah.
It was the Manhattan Monologue Slam. We used to hang out with the Galinsky brothers, you know.
Right,
So yeah,
right.
it was really dope. I you know, again, I saw you. I just saw your at the Battle Axe, the
Battle
thing that they're doing.
Axe, the Zelensky brothers. Yes, at the
Yes.
Chelsea Music Hall.
Yeah.
I really, 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 really put a lot into that,
Yeah.
and I enjoyed that performance. You know, it's like I may not have my big break yet, but anything I do I'm going to put my all into it.
Yeah,
And I am so, after a while you audition, it's like rejection, 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 whatever.
yeah,
It's great to just have the opportunity to just really do what you love
yeah,
and invest in it. And that's what I did, for that performance and for that show. And I was grateful to have that opportunity as well.
yeah, yeah. Well, Shukura, thank you so much for joining me tonight. I appreciate you coming through. Thank you for your energy and all that you shared. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you for such a lovely intro in your
Ah,
post
man.
about me, the Shukura experience. I mean, I'm very grateful. Thank you so much for your kindness. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
It is. I mean, like, again, if anybody's watching this, if you've ever seen this woman on stage, it is truly an experience. Anytime someone can get on the stage in front of an audience and perform and you could hear a pin drop, I call that having them by the balls. She has them by the balls. She has them by
Thank you.
the
Thank you.
balls.
I'm
Ah,
in with the suave.
what about? I had to rock this for you. I was
That's
like,
what's
yo, I'm coming on with
up.
that.
That's what's
I'm
up.
coming on with
That's
that.
how we do.
No doubt. Thank you. And it's always good. It's always good to bump into you every time I see you around. It's always good to see you. Always.
Same here. You've got great energy. Great
Thank you.
energy, man.
I
Thank you.
appreciate it. Hopefully I can make it to Battle Axe this the 24th, I believe it's going to be in Chelsea.
Okay, yeah. I'm
In
not gonna
South
be able to
Carolina.
make that one, but maybe the one after it, though,
Sure.
for sure. That's a good show. That's a good show. Those guys got it on lock, the Galinsky brothers. Very entertaining,
Oh
very
yeah.
wonderful show.
We used to like back when we did the Manhattan Monologue Slam, like that was we would take that seriously when we got
Yeah.
to the point where we actually made it to like I think it was like the 5 minute round. We were like,
Yeah.
I remember, and I've said this story before too. Really quick, and I'm gonna let you
No,
go.
it's all
David
good.
Roberts. David Roberts.
Yes, my friend. I love David. I love him.
That's my dude. He was the champion, and the way it would always work is the champion had to come back and keep coming back until somebody knocked the champion out. And
Got
I
you.
remember
Right.
it was an old Zipper Theater in Midtown, and David came in, and I was like, man, now this is my boy. But like when we were backstage, me and David didn't even look at each other. He had a corner, I had a
Yeah.
corner, because I knew I had to take him out, because I know David could get on that stage and like
Yeah.
Sidney Poitier start crying, and the
Wonderful.
audience will just be silent. And I
Yeah.
had to come. And I remember being backstage and having the judges read off the scores. And I came like maybe 2 or 3 points shy of getting them. And it was like,
Right.
and I'm like, and that's what I love. I mean, if you are my colleague, we're supposed to challenge each other artistically. We can go hang out and be friends, but in that moment, the challenge of me knowing that I'm dealing with an actor who happens to be a friend
Yeah.
of mine who's
Yeah.
exceptional, it forces me to actually work harder.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely. It's just, we're all so different as artists. And, the piece that we may do, this may be a stronger piece for this person. This piece may be better for this person. So it's not even about like who's a better actor. It's just,
Yeah.
and then everybody has, when it comes, it's like the Oscars, for example. Most of the people who are nominated for the Oscar, in my opinion, are excellent. It's brilliant performances most of the time. It's just a matter of choice. Like it's like you like the red shirt or the black one or the black that has a little white in it. It's just
Yeah.
preference. But you've all won because you're all nominated for the Oscar. So I feel it's the same way.
Truly.
It's preference and it's just a different piece. But it's just great to be working amongst your peers,
Yes.
like your peers, because that's what you and David, myself, that's what we are. We're peers.
Yes. Truly, truly, truly. Thank you again. I'm really gonna let you go this time.
I'm loving
Shukura,
this. Thank you.
everyone, please follow her. If you haven't followed her, follow her right now. It's up at the top, so all you gotta do is click it, and you'll follow her. She's an amazing artist, amazing person with a beautiful, beautiful spirit. Thank you. To everyone else,
Likewise.
I will see you next time. Have a blessed one, everybody.
Bye.